Howdy ho neighbors, Jacoby here from Kiev. It's March 6, 2025, and this is Meditations Post numero 4. I'm here near the Dnieper River at actually the Holodomor Museum. If I can show you, I thought it was maybe an appropriate backdrop for some context on the history of the tense relationship between Ukraine and Russia. So today we're going to talk about truth and media and lies and propaganda. So let's start with the Bible. So when the Catholic Church, they used to have a monopoly on the interpretation of the biblical text, right, through Latin. And they were concerned when guys like Wycliffe, Tyndale, Luther came along and started translating the scriptures into the common tongue. And they're worried that if the common people get the scriptures into their own hands, they'll come up with all kinds of false interpretations. And what has happened today, we have numerous Protestant denominations around the world and numerous interpretations of the text. And it's certainly true that there's a lot of bad biblical interpretations out there. But did the Roman Catholic Church have it? No, certainly not. So they're saying a true thing to control people through fear, but ultimately it's a lie. So it's a truth that's a lie. Yes, people will have bad interpretations, but ultimately, through the Holy Spirit, we have the freedom to discuss these ideas, to develop our theology, and by the grace of God, throughout history, we come closer and closer to truth. And so we have Russia with their propaganda tactics. People think the Cold War is over, and yes, in a certain sense, the Cold War is over, but do you think that Putin, how ambitious he is, he just sits back and, these people are all about media and information. Well, all the world powers are, China, the US, the EU. And they're always going to post something that sounds viable or plausible or appeals to people's emotions or sentimentalities, even the influencers, the conservative American influencers. They want clicks, they want views. So they take every headline, every clickbait title, they sensationalize it, or they just twist it a little just to get your attention, and you watch it and it's a nothing burger. Or maybe it's just, okay, that's not how they made it sound. And this happens every day. Everyone wants attention. Like I saw today on the X, St. Javelin, it's a pretty popular Ukrainian account, very pro-Ukrainian. They posted that, oh, listen to Marco Rubio's propaganda. He's saying this is a proxy war. This is what Russia says. Okay. How is this not a proxy war? This is absolutely a proxy war. This financial war. They've had sanctions on Russia. They've sent tons of weapons. All of this. It's a proxy war. And so it's not propaganda. It's just a truth that's ultimately a lie because it lacks context. It lacks pure intent. It's meant to appeal to people's sentimentalities, to control their perspective, right? So like Russia talks about NATO encroaching. Is Russia worried about NATO encroaching? Yes, this is true. Is this the reason they're attacking Ukraine? Probably not. It's just an excuse to kill more people, to get more stuff, to get more power. So this is the thing about, you have all these American conservatives parroting these Kremlin talking points because somebody said something on the internet for sensationalism, for views, for clicks, or it made sense to them. Like, I posted that somebody once told me, someone I know, someone close to me actually, believes that Trump and Putin are going to team up to take down the deep state. I thought this sounded absolutely ludicrous when I heard it. Now it seems a little bit plausible. I'm not going to go so far to say Trump is a neo-fascist. This is another example of a lie. But imagine it. They divvy up Ukraine between themselves. They increase ties with Russia, a major world power, and perhaps move Russia further away from China. Who knows? I don't know. It sounds plausible. But, and then you have a lot of Ukrainians, not all, I know some that are very thoughtful and have a more nuanced view of things. And like when I first moved to Ukraine, everyone would see advertisements or even religion proselytizers. People here have a natural tendency to not trust information because they were so lied to under Soviet propaganda. So they're very distrusting, which makes actually being a missionary here harder, because people think you want something from them, or that your truth is just your truth kind of thing. So anyway, then you have the Democrats who call Elon Musk and Trump a fascist, or that they're going to even start a monarchy, which is absolutely ridiculous if you understand the U.S. judicial system. Or when they go to do regime changes in a nation, they call it fighting for democracy. When you can see at home, they don't care about democracy at all. And then they say, or if they're trying to keep a regime in, they'll say for the country's stabilization. Mike Pence talks about this. These are just euphemisms. These are buzzwords to make things sound nicer than they really are. And I was trying to figure out, why do the Democrats care about Ukraine so much when they don't care about their own country or their own country's borders? Why do these liberal EU politicians, I'm not talking about Poland or the Baltic states, they're very close to Russia, they understand what's going on, bipartisan, they know how evil Putin is. But why do these EU liberals care so much? And when you see with the US aid, everybody doing all the money laundering and all of this, there's undoubtedly some money laundering going on, especially when Zelensky says, we never even received all this money. And so then we just point the finger at Ukraine and say, oh, you're laundering money. How do you know? Yes, the oligarchs here have a history of laundering money. Yes, maybe there's been cases of extortion or mismanagement of funds. A lot of Ukrainians are upset when they buy $6 million nuclear reactors from Bulgaria because they want nuclear power. Well, if you've seen how much times the power has gone down in Ukraine these last few years, it might make sense. However, I don't know, I'm not a nuclear engineer. Somebody told me this would take 10 years to develop, and they would even need the parts for it from Russia. So there's just a lot. While people voted Zelensky in, now there's been growing unpopularity with him because of some of this stuff, or how they might treat soldiers. I know plenty of soldiers that are actually in good situations and treated well, but that's another context. But they will just take the one aspect of the guys being taken off the streets and sensationalize it. So yes, this stuff does happen, but it's not it's relatively rare, some of these cases. I think it's ridiculous when the guys punch him on the street. I don't think it's kidnapping. So on the other hand, you have the sensationalizing of it. It's kidnapping. No, it's not kidnapping. It's the law. They've been conscripted. They're supposed to join the army. My personal view is, if you're a Christian man and your country's being invaded, you should defend your home. So, but on the other hand, you know this is a gruesome war, and some soldiers don't necessarily... This is the first day all winter we had such beautiful weather. It's glorious. So I'm out here with my guys, my guy and my gal. So So it's nuanced. These guys should, by law, just go sign up. On the other hand, it's like, well, if I was president of Ukraine, my priority would be soldiers are well fed, well equipped, and this is our first priority: getting the weapons and the equipment we need for our soldiers, helping them keep morale up, giving them good training and everything, and even giving them like pension plans and free education after the army and all of this. And if you had this, more guys would be ready to go sign up. And the guys that are going on the street just taking people, the law doesn't actually allow them to do this. So they should change the law so they can take them, apprehend them civilly, tase them, put some zip ties on them, and put them in the car. Don't punch them in the face and drag them across the concrete. It's not helping anything. It's not helping. So, and then you have guys on the internet say, well, if you want Ukraine to go to war, why don't you join the army? This is another example of just leaving out all context and saying something sensational, right? So, first of all, not everyone is a trained soldier. Second of all, everyone has different roles in this fight. Not everyone is called to do that. Thirdly, I actually seriously considered it, and I have relatives married in the family and friends and members in the church that are fighting. Fourthly, I have at home weapons, body armor, emergency food, backup water, backup generator, backup batteries, covered electronics in EMP-proof boxes. And I live in Kiev, and every night I hear the air sirens and the defense or explosions nearby. So I'm not on the front lines fighting, but I'm here. And I'm ready if they come. We have, whether that means evacuate or fight. And it's not just because you're not the one going to the front line to fight does not minimize the truth of what you're saying. Then people in America say, oh, you're not in America, how can you know what's going on here? Well, there's a thing called the internet, there's a thing called objective truth, and I can get a really good idea by all the accounts I follow on X, maybe even a better idea. And I have to filter, is this something just for clicks? Is this a half-truth? Is this being sensationalized? We need to understand how media works on all sides, on the right, on the left, from the Kremlin, and know that most of the time people are not giving you the full truth. And when they do give you the truth, it's often for a manipulative reason. And so just like we dig through the scriptures and learn how to interpret scripture, know how to check our own biases, realize that our mind and our hearts, our emotions can trick us. And they manipulate us this way through fear or through sensationalism. We need to know ourselves. We need to know how to discern. It doesn't mean we're going to get it 100% right every time, but if we say something wrong, we're willing to correct ourselves if we hear a better explanation or if we get more information. And we're in honest, frank, transparent pursuit of this. It's not about pride. It's not about proving you're right. It's not about proving someone wrong, other than if you want to show them they're wrong because what they believe is hurting them or hurting other people. So it's not about proving, it's about protecting, like a shepherd. So you take up the stick of truth and you protect the sheep from the wolves. And with the media, like so many Americans are saying these Russian talking points. And so many Ukrainians are saying these like Soros-funded or leftist-funded talking points. And you need to look on the media who owns it, who funds it, how does this match up with what's actually happening before you post it. If we're Christians, we shouldn't be posting and saying stuff unless that we just read on the news. Did you even check who owns this news, or what political party they're affiliated with, or why they might be saying it? So that's what all I'm asking is to check your sources, verify your sources. We believe in the Bible because it's an authoritative source. We should do the same thing with our media sources. We should verify, where is this information coming from, and should I trust it? And there's a lot of misunderstandings about Ukraine. I forgot, I was saying this earlier and I never finished, and I'll close with this. This guy told me that I know that Putin and Trump are going to team up to take down the globalists and the deep state. And then another Christian wrote me in a private message and said I would be okay with that. Or one lady I wrote asking for missionary support for a camp we were doing for kids in Ukraine, and she said something about the corruption in Ukraine, and I stand with Russia. And it's wow, you people have no idea how evil Russia is or what they've done here. With government here corrupt or whatever, if they're going through reforms, okay, let's fight, let's reform it, let's inform people to be careful about Soros and the deep state, yada yada. But we fight this in the civil way, through truth, through legislation, through voting, through protesting, whatever, through education. But what about the people here? The people here, the culture. It's a lot of, I don't like to say good people because I'm a Calvinist and I understand the depravity of man, but relatively speaking, with the Christian culture, in many ways it's a stronger Christian culture than America. And these people are just disposable. We're going to come and just divvy up their land between Russia and America, or BlackRock and Soros. This is basically what's going on now, is the leftists and the right are fighting for the resources in Ukraine. Who's going to get them? I don't care. Take the resources. If that's our only option, just stop killing the people. And the U.S. takes down this radar so that Ukraine can't see all the missiles coming. I mean, Ukraine has their own, but it has handicapped them. And they're talking about, oh, look at all the people dying. Look at all the people dying. So let's just shut down Ukraine's radar so more people can die. They don't care about people dying. They're appealing to sentimentalities to push their wicked agenda. So truth, half-truths, blatant lies. If it's a truth for a crooked end, it's a lie. It's a deception. So that's all I got for you today. God bless. Till next time.